We all think we know the story of the Titanic, right? The unsinkable ship, the iceberg, the heartbreaking tragedy. It's a story that feels like it's carved in stone.
But what if that story is a complete lie? What if the ship resting 2.5 miles down at the bottom of the Atlantic isn't the Titanic at all? Today, we are diving deep into one of the most shocking and persistent conspiracy theories in all of history.
So let's open the case file. We're calling it Case File 1912, The Great Deception. The theory is as bold as it gets. The real Titanic never sank. Instead, it was secretly swapped with its older, damaged sister ship, the Olympic, all for a massive insurance scam.
Yeah, you heard me right. The central claim here is that the company that owned the ships, the White Star Line, was on the brink of collapse. So they hatched a plan to deliberately send the damaged Olympic, disguised as the shiny new Titanic, out to sea to be sunk. Why? To collect an absolutely enormous insurance payout. Okay, for a scheme this huge, you need a seriously powerful motive. And that brings us to Exhibit A, a motive born from disaster. To understand this, we have to rewind the clock a few months before that fateful maiden voyage. So here's what happened. In September 1911, the company's pride and joy, the RMS Olympic, had a really bad day and collided with a warship. The damage was severe, catastrophic. To make matters 1,000 times worse, the official inquiry put the blame squarely on the Olympic. And what does that mean? The insurance company wouldn't pay a penny. So the White Star Line was staring down the barrel of financial ruin, facing repair costs that could bankrupt them. When you're that desperate, well, that's when desperate plans are born.
A motive is one thing, but it's not proof, right? So what about actual evidence? Well, this is where it gets really compelling. Proponents of the theory point to what they say is photographic proof.
This, for many, is the smoking gun. The argument is that the ship that left the dock on April 10, 1912, the one the world knows as Titanic, had tiny little details, telltale signs that prove it was actually the Olympic in disguise.
So let's look at this tale of two sisters, because the differences are pretty critical. According to the original design, the brand new Titanic was supposed to have 14 evenly spaced portholes on its sea deck. The older Olympic? It had 16, and they were unevenly spaced. Now look at photos of the ship that actually sailed that day. It has 16 unevenly spaced portholes. Then there's the promenade deck. A big selling point for the Titanic was its enclosed forward deck. But pictures from the voyage show an open deck, just like the Olympics.
So you have to ask the question, right? If this was the brand new Titanic, why did it have features that were specific to its older sister ship? Were these just last-minute changes they forgot to mention? Or was this ship simply not the Titanic? Now, a conspiracy this huge would have to involve some very powerful people, and that brings us to Exhibit C, the suspects and the plan. The theory points its finger directly at the man at the very top.
And this is one of the most suspicious parts of the whole story. J.P. Morgan, the financial giant behind the White Star Line, was supposed to be the star passenger on this maiden voyage. He had a personal suite waiting for him, but then, at the very last minute, he canceled.
Let's just break down his actions, okay? He was all set to go. He cancels just hours before departure, saying he's sick. But then, just 2 days later, he's seen in France, looking totally fine. And here's the kicker. Theorists claim he also ordered some incredibly valuable bronze statues to be taken out of the cargo hold right before the ship sailed. Did he know something nobody else did?
It is crucial to understand that the theory doesn't claim this was a plot to kill over 1,500 people. Not at all. The original plan was supposed to be a victimless crime, a carefully staged accident with an even more carefully staged rescue.
So what was the safety net? According to the theory, it was a ship called the SS Californian. It was owned by the same company, and it was suspiciously positioned nearby, just sitting there in the middle of the same ice field. It wasn't carrying any passengers, but it was reportedly loaded up with thousands of wool blankets and sweaters. It was, allegedly, just waiting for a distress call.
The plan was supposed to be simple. Step 1, the disguised Olympic gets into a planned collision in the ice field. Step 2, it sends an SOS to the Californian, which is right there waiting. Step 3, all the passengers are safely moved over to the rescue ship. And Step 4, the old empty hulk sinks to the bottom and the White Star Line collects a massive insurance check. A perfect crime.
But something went terribly, terribly wrong. A simple navigation error.
a miscalculation of their positions, meant the Californian was way too far away to help in time. Its crews saw the distress rockets in the distance, but were confused. The whole carefully crafted plan for fraud spiraled out of control and became one of the worst maritime disasters in history.
For more than 70 years, this was all just a wild story. But in 1985, when the wreck was finally found, everyone thought the debate would be over for good. Instead, it just threw more fuel on the fire.
Finding the wreck was a monumental achievement. But as explorers and filmmakers started to get images from the deep, they found details that just kept the whole conspiracy theory alive and kicking. And this might be the most chilling claim of all. Some analysts who studied the early dive footage before the hull started to really decay swear you can faintly see letters bleeding through the paint. Right where the name Titanic is, they claim you can just make out the outlines of an M and a P, which would be remnants of the ship's original name, Olympic. So that leaves us with this massive question. Was the sinking of the Titanic a tragic, unavoidable accident, or was it the botched final act of a desperate, high-stakes deception? The evidence is all circumstantial, and the debate rages on. But the questions it raises challenge the very core of a story we thought we knew so well. You've seen the evidence. Now, you get to decide.